can go out and work as entry-level paramedic providers in Montgomery County. We have an extensive history of training people, and our hope is that you guys will apply and come work with us for a little while, so you can carry on the tradition of strong customer service and strong EMS service here in Montgomery County. We have clinical rotations, we have residency programs, we have strong instructorship. We have a lot of things that we can bring to bear on your behalf. And this is one of the handful of time in your career where you have the entire weight of the county training academy and many of the resources and EMS geared specifically for you to become a paramedic, right? All right, so how do we work? Now, we're sponsored by Montgomery County and we're funded by the Montgomery County Fire Rescue budget, but we're a standalone entity. So that means we're accredited by two separate institutions that look at our curriculum and make sure that we meet national expectations and standards. You should consider that anytime you're looking at any program, whether you're paying for it or not. If you're going to invest your time and energy, that it's a bona fide program, right? So we are a bona fide program. We are sponsored and funded by Montgomery County government and in the fire rescue budget, and we have a home here at the Public Safety Training Academy. And the purpose of training all of you is so that Montgomery County has paramedics, homegrown paramedics, ready to go out and work. These are the two accreditation entities that we are kind of beholden to. The Commission on Accredited Allied Health Education Program, KHEP, and the Committee on Accreditation and Educational Programs for Emergency Medical Services Professions, COA-EMSP. And we are in good standing with both of those folks. All right, so can I get a raise of hand? How many folks on here are interested in the shift base, and how many are interested? I'll say shift base, raise your hand first. Cool. And then night and weekend. Great. All right. So we'll talk about the two different formats. So for the career members, we have the shift-based class, and we also let volunteer members in that too when there's space available. And last year we ran an A and C shift class. This year we may run an A or a B or a C or a combination of the two, depending on the number of applicants we get and what the demand is for service. So the shift-based class is going to begin September 2023, and it's going to run for about 10.5 months into July 2024. The first 4 weeks of that class will be on day work from September 11th through October 6th. The purpose of that is to give 4 solid weeks of anatomy and physiology and assessment training. So we have a strong foundation upon which you can build your ALS skills. This is based on a whole lot of student feedback from surveys and instructor feedback and some experience. We've been wanting to install this anatomy and physiology element in a more concentrated way for many years. We have what we call a flipped program or a hybrid program, where you do a lot of self-study and we embed the anatomy and physiology components that you would have otherwise gotten as a prerequisite in many other college-based programs. We embed that into modules of the class. So when we talk about airway, you talk about the pulmonary circuit, and cardiology, we talk about the circulatory system and the heart and vasculatory system, and all the structures and anatomy that are associated with those things. But what we found was that's a lot of stuff to absorb in one fell swoop. So we're going to embed 4 weeks into this class where that's all you're doing is anatomy and physiology. Most anatomy and physiology prereqs are 2 semester-long classes, so certainly you're not going to get the same depth and breadth that you would in a college-based class. But we are going to go over all the important structures and all the important systems at a high level, so that when we get into the modules, you're able to draw more information out of the curriculum and hopefully keep it in your head longer. So after you do the 4 weeks of initial day work, we move into the shift work schedule, which you'll be assigned to a shift equivalent. And for this day side 0700, 1700, you'll be in the classroom with us or in a lab with us here at the PSTA or some other remote site where we send you. The remote sites that we send people are typically the anatomy and physiology human anatomy lab in Baltimore, University of Maryland. And then at nighttime, we'll send you out to ride in the field with a preceptor, and you'll have a Sunday Kelly day. Moving into April, you should have most of your clinical time and work done, and your field clinical time, and then we move you into the hospitals. We have affiliation agreements with all the hospitals here in Montgomery County, and we send you to the emergency department, labor and delivery, operating room, pediatrics, and a variety of other spots so that you can get a lot of hands-on experience. In the OR, you're actually intubating live patients under the guidance of an anesthesiologist, which is a really handy, a really useful opportunity for you as you move into your internship and your residency. And after that, the balance of the class, you'll be on shift work, working for your team leads and going through testing. For the evening class, starts the same week as the shift-based class. That's going to be a 12-month class. We extended the duration of this class, again, based on student feedback over many, many years. The night class it's responsible for all the same volume and quantity and type of information as the shift-based class, just delivered in a different format. And we were canning a lot of that format into the same time period as the shift class, but without as many opportunities to digest it. And people were getting through, but we were worried about the retention of knowledge towards the end of the class. So we extended the class, and we were building in more opportunities for people to have a reasonably paced learning tempo. So that class will start in September, and it will meet primarily on Monday and Thursday nights from 1,800 to 2,200 hours. And in the beginning, there will be some selected Saturday classes from 700 to 1,700 hours. When you have a week's, whether it's Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, you will not be required to ride in the field for clinical hours like you would if you were just doing Monday and Thursday. If you're doing Monday and Thursday, it's Monday and Thursday for 4 hours a class, so that's 8 hours plus 10 to 12 hours of field clinical time on the transport unit chase car after with the preceptor. So the weekly classroom requirements vary depending on the module that you're in. The first several weeks, you'll be doing anatomy and physiology, which will be Monday, Thursday, and Saturdays. And then we'll phase you into the field. So again, reduce field riding time during the Saturday commitment weeks. All right, so a lot of stuff is posted on the website, and I just kind of talked about this, but and there's a lot of information, so I don't expect everybody to digest all of this and hold it to memory. Just know that there's a significant investment of both in-person time here at the training academy and in the field. And we do have minimum requirements that must be met. Otherwise, the students really do fall behind in the curriculum. And the problem with that is once people really start to materially fall behind, it's very challenging for them to catch up to this fast-paced tempo. All right, so the flipped classroom. What does that mean? Well, so we have a hybrid approach to learning. And you look at the way a lot of universities are working nowadays, everybody's flipping and everybody's coming up with these hybrid teach-back methods. So we post effectively your entire curriculum online, and you'll have that before you even set foot in the classroom. Once you get accepted to the class, we'll send you a schedule, and we'll send you a syllabus with all the curriculum in it and links to all of our curated information. For the past several years, we haven't actually supplied a textbook to the students. Instead, what we had is we had a schedule, and embedded in that schedule was an entire curriculum that was curated from open sources or sources that we bought. And the reason and rationale behind that was by the time a textbook is actually reviewed and made, a lot of the elements of that textbook are outmoded or outdated. So we elected instead to try to curate that stuff in real time every year so that we were giving you the most recent knowledge and information. One of the suggestions we've historically had from students is a lot of people do like to have a companion textbook. So we're going to be issuing you guys a textbook too, but that's not the primary mode of knowledge base for the class. It'll be a companion to our curated information. Things like anatomy and physiology, certainly those are going to evolve over man's experience on Earth, but they're not going to change materially from the time that you're in class. So the trachea should be in the same place for the next few years, and the endocrine system should be working more or less the same way today as it will in December of 2024. So we put this up here to remind everybody that, so if you're in a shift class, you're going to be with us for 24 hours, if not on day work for the first 4 weeks. You'll be on day work for you'll be in shift work for 24 hours. So in the classroom with us, 10 hours, and then in the field at night. Then you have 2 days off. Part of that time's got to be spent recovering from the shift, and the other part's got to be studying, right? You've got, the intent is you review the material and you have a rudimentary understanding, or at least exposure to it, before you come into the classroom. And the instructor leads the other coaches there, so that all that knowledge that you read about or watched videos about is reinforced in small lecture groups or teach backs and scenario-based exercises. All right. A real enhancement, I think, from this year is going to be the anatomy and physiology that we're giving you guys in the first 4 weeks. Another big weakness that we've detected in many of our income students is their basic BLS assessment ability. A lot of people are coming with less than intuitive assessment ability. And if you don't have strong BLS skills, it's really hard to add ALS skills on top of that in a reasonable time frame. So that's why we want to make sure that we give you an opportunity to do that in the first couple weeks. So there's an extensive literature review of videos and study guides. And we're, again, like I said, we're supplementing with the textbook. I'll throw it. Hey, Mike, since you're on the call, would you mind throwing those links up from yesterday, the program content, sample schedule, and medication disease portfolios? Mike Kaufman. Mike Kaufman.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Can you please?
Yeah, your volume dropped off. What's up?
Okay. Can you please put the link to the program content, the sample schedule, and the FISDAP study guide in the
Absolutely.
chat? All right. So I'll just show you this here real quick. Program content's all posted on a web page for you, and it's all based on national curriculums. And eventually it'll load for us. We're putting the link in the chat for you so you can look through some of this stuff. We also have a sample schedule that you can look at. Now, the sample schedule is from last year, but a lot of the curriculum in there is unchanged or will be updated. So I want to show you that, you've got the topic here. Here's day one, introductory preparatory module. Outside the classroom material, there are all these things that you need to go through before you come into class. And then we tell you what we're going to be doing in the classes. So if you scroll down here, let's see, routes of medication administration, pharmacokinetics, easy IO, tricks to improve EJ visibility, lots of videos. All right. So consumable on your phone, your tablet, your computer, wherever you're most comfortable studying. But a lot of this stuff has got to be done in the time that you're not in class. Right. We're also going to be augmenting this this fall with some references to actual textbook chapters. Another thing we do is, we encourage a lot of student participation, and the practice we do is mostly scenario based. So we will be assigning each of you into groups, and you'll be assigned types of diseases and types of medications. Whereas a team, you're going to have to come up with portfolios, where you effectively are putting together a presentation to teach both yourself and your peers in the class. Another opportunity for you guys to engage, right? That's mentored and proctored by instructors, and all of you will submit these things to the instructor before you present to the class. That way we can authenticate that all the information is accurate and current and on message with what we're teaching you. All right, field rotations. This is one of the big competitive advantages of the program. Many other programs have to collaborate with fire departments or transport systems to get their students into the field. Now, thankfully, you guys are already EMTBs, you're already in the field with Montgomery County. The only difference is now you're going to be going in as a student, a paramedic student, as effectively an overage person on that unit. And you get to be around EMS and frame your new perspective as the paramedic. These are going to start as soon as we're done with the anatomy and physiology for the shift-based class. It'll be the first 4 weeks, and then for the evening class, it'll be after the first several weeks, where we put you with a preceptor. Now, we've been working diligently to try to get people married to preceptors, but as you all know, since you're in operations now, that can be a challenging model to sustain because of sick leave, annual leave, apparatus movement, people's riding rotations, etc. So we assign you to a preceptor, but under that preceptor are a team of coaches in the stations. So the key to all of this is communication, both from the preceptors and from you to us and round robin. So if you show up to a station and it's a person that you're not terribly familiar with, well, you've got to do a couple things. You've got to introduce yourself. You've got to be the paramedic that you're aspiring to be. If you encounter any problems, you need to reach back to Instructor Kaufman or myself or Lieutenant Rocco to help bridge any of those gaps. But what we're looking for is an opportunity for you to start to blend the skills we're teaching you in class into your practice. So you start as a student, then you evolve towards usually around about April, where you are substantially leading the ALS calls, right? The only way you get there is by being there and phasing your skills in and learning how to show up and lead as the paramedic leader. And the paramedics, make no mistake about it, you're leading up, you're leading down, you're leading side to side. And the best education aside from the medicine you're going to get out of this is you'll learn to synthesize a team out of whatever shows up and whoever shows up. And you'll learn to, and if you're doing it right, you're going to learn how to extract the best performance out of your team in whatever condition it shows up. All right. So the phases of the training, we have a paramedic student, paramedic intern, paramedic resident. And these are important distinctions because they relate to phases of your training. In the very beginning of the class, starting September all the way up to January, sometimes all the way to March, you're working as a paramedic student, okay? And what that means is you're following on the calls, you're focusing on skills, you're dropping a ton of IVs, you're doing 12 leads, you may be responsible for intubation, but you're working on discrete skills and you're starting to collect and pull together all of these skill sets into what we would call a practice. And depending on the student, depending on where you are in the process, we phase you into an internship phase where you should be substantively leading the calls. Now, what does it mean to lead a call? It does not mean that you do every skill. It doesn't mean you perform every intervention. What that means is you're starting to lead the team. There are so many bread and butter calls that you can cut your teeth on. Chest pains, diabetics, asthmas, basic trauma. Remember, trauma is still basic, right? You get to go into these things and you need to curate and cultivate your ability to lead and also to apply these newfound skill sets that we gave you. So you don't need to pay attention as much to the dates on these things. Just know that this is the phasing of the training where you start as a student. We distinguish you into an intern, and then very end, after you're done with the class, after you've passed all of our psychomotor exams and written exams, and you're well prepared, you've gotten good reviews from your preceptor, then we put you into a paramedic residency for 90 days, that's where you're a full-fledged paramedic in Montgomery County. You've got a national registry card, and we're putting you into a spot where you're like Lieutenant Rocco likes to say, we've got a blade, now we're honing a strong edge on it. At the end of that residency, we run you through a thing called the Objective Structure Clinical Examination. This was installed several years ago as a replacement to the standard medical director interview. We can talk more about what that OSC looks like when you're in class, but effectively it's a board of people where you come in and you're running calls in front of them. It's scenario based. It's much more realistic. Let's try to make it more realistic. And we elicited better performance out of people than we historically did when we sat them down at a table and just went through standard protocol stuff with them, right? It's an evolution that has kind of taken place across a bunch of disciplines in medicine. Doctors, nurses, other clinicians are using the same kind of testing. All right, so application phases. Mike, you want to take this? You want to share the screen?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah. Mike, shall I stop sharing my screen and you can share your...
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that.
And a reminder too for everybody, if you joined late, please into the chat, put your last name, comma, first name, comma, fire service ID, comma, your station assignment.
All right, everybody can see paramedic program application portal. give me a nod or a grunt or something of that sort. Okay, perfect. All right. I don't recognize any names in here right now. So if you have not discovered this website, I would invite you to navigate over to it, and I'll post a link to it in the chat. But this was something we built out this year with the intent of it being kind of a one-stop shop for the entire onboarding process. And hopefully we can consider step one as being intuitive enough to, I should click here first. So go ahead and going through there. This page is going to be your jump page for virtually everything, depending on where you are in the process. You may have seen the Learn More page if that's how you navigated to the town hall meetings, but everything will get you, will ultimately get you back here. Skipping forward to the really the first actionable component for you, that's the initial application. So part one, that's going to be what you guys might be used to. It's a jot form collecting demographic information, some mandatory questioning, that sort of thing. Something new for this year is the writing assignment. That's going to be in part two, and it has two components. And the reason we decided we wanted to do this was we're really looking for a more holistic view of the candidate. And at least for the essay component, basically, I want to know what made you successful and what made you unsuccessful, and things that led to either. I can tell you that I did not reach this point in my life with the success that I do have without a monumental amount of failures. We tend to view failures as learning opportunities, and really they are. The hardest day you should have in class should be just that. It should be in class. So this is kind of an attempt to gleam into your ability to be able to do that, to learn from mistakes, because I promise you will have them. There's an additional component to the writing assignment, and that is a resume. You don't need to send us a full top to bottom CV. It doesn't even need to be industry specific. So if you have one prepared that's kind of a general one, please feel free to send it. If you have one prepared that's specific to the fire rescue industry, also send that. If you are, and there's some visuals down here. And then finally, navigating back. Oh, rather, after part two, this is going to be the end of the first phase of the application process. From a program point of view, this is where we're going to make our first set of selections. Oh, sorry, Cap, I got ahead of myself twice. Right before the end of that is going to be your FISDAP entrance exam. Have you gone over that one, Cap Schaefer?
Not yet.
Okay, I will hold off then. So right after you submit your writing assignment, you will receive, well, not immediately right after, but we will send you a link to get set up to take your entrance exam. And then your entrance exam scoring combined with your writing assignments are what we're initially anyway going to use to move forward into the next phase. The next phase, this is the in-person day. So it's a teach back and panel interview. Both will occur on the same day, both at the training academy. And the teach back really isn't something to be worried about, honestly. You're going to have 3 to 5 people in front of you, and you should consider those individuals to be essentially brand new EMTs. And your job is to teach us how to perform a good, solid BLS assessment. We'll have some task trainers and some teaching aids for you to utilize. How you utilize them is going to be entirely up to you. And the depth and breadth of that assessment also will be up to you, though we would like it if these were confined to about 15 minutes. After your teach back, you will have a panel interview. There will also be some scripted questions that we will provide you, give you some time to organize your thoughts and come up with responses, as well as some unscripted questions. We will not be providing feedback on the day of, but this will be one of your opportunities to let us know that you do want that feedback. At near the end of the process, after we've compiled everything, those who request it, we will be sending out feedback to you. 6 and 7, or when the acceptance letters will go out, Captain Schaefer will discuss dates and times for that. And then finally, the new cohort orientation and the start of class. For anyone who is visual, if you keep scrolling down on the overview page, there's an application map. You can either utilize what's here on the screen, or if you click the button, it will automatically download it for you. Likewise, if you're looking for a checklist to get things put together ahead of your initial application, you can also use this here, or same thing, you can click the button and download it directly. And that's about that. Cap, did I miss anything?
No, that's great. I'll reshare and we'll keep moving on.
All right.
Okay, so the application timeline and dates were all sent out by email in the announcement. They're also posted on the Montgomery County webpage. So please also refer back to the application portal that Instructor Poppard just showed you. That's also linkable from your application and also from the Training Academy EMS Paramedic schedule webpage if you can't find it anyplace else. All right, so also some notes as you fill out your application form, the JAP form, the very first phase 1 application piece, you will install the name and email address of your officer in charge or your fire chief. I strongly encourage you to open up Outlook while you're filling out this form and cut and paste that email address and that name so it's all spelled properly so it goes to the right person, because that triggers another form to be sent to that recommender so they can endorse you. You'll upload your resume and your personal essay. And once your application is installed with the job form and your resume and personal essay, then and only then will we schedule you for your FISDAP entrance exam. If you haven't done the resume and personal essay, we're not going to schedule for the FISDAP. A big part of what we're doing here is making sure everybody follows instructions. So the FISDAP entrance exam, if you haven't taken it before, is 130 questions. You take it remotely. I'll get to some more details about that in just one second. Yeah, I'll just jump to it now. It evaluates you in 4 categories plus some affective elements. Anatomy and physiology, which is going to be your basic EMTB anatomy and physiology. Math, which is high school level math. So we're talking about fractions, conversions, and moving decimal points. And then reading comprehension at the 9th through 11th grade reading level. And then we also test you on your EMTB knowledge and application of problem solving skills. So it's a really pretty basic test, and there's not a whole lot to really prepare for because you're already doing this job. You're already credentialed EMTBs and you're working operationally. I would encourage you to take a peek at the FISDAP entrance exam study guide, especially if you have any anxieties or concerns about, gosh, what's this math thing look like? It's on there. Go practice it. You can refresh yourself on some of that basic stuff. And I think if you spend a little time doing that, if you have an anxiety about it, that should hopefully put you in good space, mostly assuage your anxiety if that's what we're really doing there. Then when you get into class, remember that math is a part of paramedicine. Critical thinking is absolutely a big part of paramedicine. But the math elements, we can teach you that stuff. And so long as you're open to being mentored and you're willing to learn and you're willing to put the sweat equity in and go to that uncomfortable place with us, there are very few people that we can't teach this stuff. And then also remember too that we have a lot of training aids and a lot of backup systems. I will probably never ever calculate a drip again in my head. It's all going to be on a calculator and calculator or some kind of guide. In fact, what we endorse and we really push people towards is you do it in your head, you do it on a piece of paper, and then you validate it on your calculator or on your we have a bunch of tools that we can give you so that we want to avoid medication math and medication administration errors as much as we can, which is another reason we always deploy as a team whenever we can. And if you can't be with a team, you have these other technology backups. The effective test personality assessment, we're looking for, see how agreeable you are, and if you're neurotic, and just what your mood and your affect is going to be. Granted, you can't really get a good window into that in a test, but at least it's a data point. So how are you going to be evaluated? Well, in the entrance process, we make sure that you're following directions. In the past 2 of these that I've been involved in, I have noticed a direct correlation between people who follow directions and fill out the application process accurately and candidate success in class. People who don't follow directions from the beginning very seldom learn to follow directions along the way, and they have a hard time in life and in class. So take a pause, read the instructions, look at the application form, look at the messages that we sent out. If you have any questions, click the contact us button, and one of us from the program will get back to you with an answer. You can also reach out to known entities in the Paramedic Institute. Instructor Coffin, Lieutenant Rock, and myself, Ray Oliver is also available. So you can reach out to us directly if you have something specific, or if there's a question that you want to ask us that you would like to be more discreet about. Call us, email us, find us here at the Academy. One of us is usually here. The letter of recommendation from your officer in charge or your chief is something we take seriously when we read. So it's a good idea to reach out to that recommender before you put their name on your application. If you're in a circumstance where you're having some sort of social or organizational strife with the person from whom you would naturally seek recommendation, we will engage in dialogue with you. We'll engage in dialogue with them so that, if you're in a situation where you think you would have a hard time getting an authentic recommendation, go ahead and get one, and we'll read it. We'll talk to everybody involved, and know that the recommendation is not the most heavily weighted element of your application. So, what we're looking to get is a good picture of all of the candidates, an authentic picture without any biases. Your resume and your personal statement. Thankfully, Instructor Kaufman has put together some guidance for you on that. The personal statement is more or less open-ended. I'm not looking for pages and pages of stuff. I'm looking for authentic communication about yourself. And we're also not hiring for English literature degree people. If you're not a strong writer, you can become one, right? I'm not grading you, or we're not evaluating on all of your punctuation, although it should be conscientious, or the words that you use. We're looking for the spirit of the statements that you give us. We're really interested in that. What that really means is we're really interested in you, because before this process was in place, all we really had was the FISDAP exam. And that's a partial view of the person. But the FISDAP score is important. We do score you in those 4 or 5 categories, and we take the top candidates from the combined FISDAP and personal statement and resume scores. All right, and then at the end of that, the teach back, Mr. Kaufman already talked a little bit about how that's going to go. Don't have anxiety about that. Again, that's a chance for us to get to know you. We don't expect everybody to be a polished instructor, but we're looking for your communication skills. And really what we're looking to see is, do you have a sense of how you should perform a BLS patient assessment? If you have not been riding, go ride now. If you don't have experience, you got to go get some. Because when you come into the class and you don't have really basic skills nailed down, it's really hard for us to ingrain those into you quickly so that you can build the ALS stuff out. So if you're sitting here thinking, my BLS skills aren't where they need to be, well, you have 2 options. You can apply and make sure you go get those assessment skills before the class starts, or you can consider, this is something I need to go build in myself, and I'll come back another time, because the paramedic program will be there in perpetuity. The nature of the fire department is forever on that track, and it's going to be a major line of service for the fire department for as long as all of us are alive. It's only going to evolve. But it's important to also understand that if we only bring the top candidates into the BLS teach back in the interview panel, and the top candidates from recommendation, resume, personal statement, and FISDAP score. And then when we're done with the teach backs in the interview panel, we put recommendations forth for the classes and class types to the operations chief and division of volunteer services chief. We tell them who are the top candidates are, and then we collaborate with them to see what the format should be and who definitively should go in the class. They're paying for the class, and they do get a say in all that. All right. So how do I prepare? Well, first of all, at this point, you should already be generally prepared to apply, hopefully by your experience level and your personality. And then Mike, I believe, has put the study guide link in the chat box, and we
That's
have.
correct.
Thank you. And it's also on the application portal. And the application portal should be one of your first go-tos to answer questions, and then you can contact us, and then if you need to, you can email us directly. All right, the application period is open. It is open. We're gonna leave it open for a couple weeks, all the way through Friday, June 30th, and it's gonna automatically turn off at 1700 hours. Applications will not be accepted for the 23-24 cohort after 1700 hours on June 30th. And that's a hard line. That includes all of your phase 1 and then your phase 2 written and personal statements. Resume and personal statements. We've got to have those in because right after that, we're going right into giving you guys the FISDAP entrance exam appointments. You can take those remotely at home. If you have some sort of condition where you can't take it remotely, you can come take it here. You just need to coordinate with us. And then we'll be doing teach backs in July 17th or 18th. If you have an authentic hardship with those dates, you can reach out to us and we will try to help you. Can't guarantee that we can, but we will certainly make a best effort or a reasonable effort. And then acceptance letters go out the week of August 7th. The shift back class and the evening class will begin September 11th. And a little caveat to all that is dates, formats, and all that stuff are contingent upon funding. We're hoping and expecting not to be struck by too many of these potential recessive factors or austerity measures that may occur in the fall. But I have every reasonable expectation that once we assign people to classes and announce that you are in this class, then you can start planning around that. You should have a reasonable expectation that that's going to be a go. All right. And one last slide, and then Instructor Kaufman, Lieutenant Rockrow, and I will kind of share what we think the good qualities of the providers that we're looking for are. So dedication goes without saying, and Rich and Mike, feel free to chime in. We need you to learn how to be calm and learn how to be resourceful. These are things that are acquired traits. Nobody's born with the ability to stay calm in an emergency. Certainly nobody is born with the ability to manage all these competing, simultaneous, dangerous priorities in a meaningful way, but we can train you. You can learn to be aware during these circumstances and bring resources to bear in a tactful way to close problems. We're looking for people that can develop their critical thinking skills. You'll probably come to us with some opinions and some preconceived notions. And I would ask you to be able to separate yourself from some of those and learn authentically and be open to change. And very importantly, be open to being mentored, right? So, I'm a little ways into my fire service career, and candidly, I look for mentorship every day from my peers, and you're going to be taught by people that are firefighters and captains and nurses and doctors, and we afford everybody the same level of respect in this class. It's a much flatter environment because I am looking for tactical operators and I'm not looking for egos. So I need you to be able to walk into or practice walking into any room, encountering whoever is in there, making yourself a servant to the process and learning from them and being open to making mistakes here in a relatively safe, closed environment while people help you along that. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. We want you to engage in class. We want you to engage in the field. We have an incredible support network for you in this time. So we want you to take advantage of it, right? So come at this with truly, an open mind, open heart, and a servant's heart, so that you can take all the things that the county has to offer you in this class and go redeploy them out into the community, which is what, again, our mission is all about.